Hey everyone, it's me Subinay Rocket, and guess what? Happy holidays! Yes, there's no snow, we live in a tropical climate. But anyways, today we're gonna be reviewing Aquaman. DC has been kinda quiet this year in 2018, well, in the movie department anyways, but they're finally back at the end of the year with Aquaman. So let's see what DC's been holding back on us for so long. So of course, as always, we're gonna start off with a non-spoiler review, and then we're gonna go on to some spoilers. Aquaman was kind of a joke for the longest period of time, but as time went on, and now in recent years, we kind of see him evolve and become a lot more cooler. I'm not really sure if that's the best way to put it, but I can't really explain, but less of a joke is what I'm trying to say. Aquaman is about a person named Arthur Curry, which basically is half man, half Atlantean, hence the name Aquaman. Of course, since Aquaman is Atlantean in this film, well, at least half Atlantean, we get to see Atlantis in this film. And I really like how they depict Atlantis in this film. Atlantis is basically like this, this advanced, highly technological city that got sunk into the ocean. And it really shows that. I really like how they depict Atlantis in this film. It's actually pretty nice. It actually looks pretty beautiful as well. And the entire idea of making Aquaman into a movie is actually a pretty good idea because we rarely get to see movies that take place underwater. Well, sure, Aquaman does take place sometimes on land as well. We get to see that in the film, but it's actually pretty interesting because we never get to see movies that actually explore the depths of underwater. We rarely get to see that. Mostly it just takes place on land all the time and maybe sometimes in space, but here we get to see a bit of underwater travel here. So yeah, it's actually a pretty cool, interesting idea, and also unique as well. Sure, this whole Atlantis idea might sound ridiculous sometimes, but for reals now, I'm pretty sure they know that that's the case. They kind of make it self-aware, well, not self-aware like Deadpool, like, hey guys, this is ridiculous, but no, it's like, this is ridiculous, what's up with this Atlantis? That's what basically we get to see with Aquaman in this film. And yeah, it's actually pretty cool. It's actually a fun part of this film. It's meant to be like this, it's meant to be ridiculous and over the top and all that, but yeah, for reals, that's what Aquaman is. You can't really do anything with something called Aquaman. So yeah, it's not called King of Atlantis. They didn't change the title like, Man of Steel or The Dark Knight. It's literally called Aquaman. I feel like you're gonna get a lot of enjoyment out of this film. There's some pretty good action sequences in this film, both for land and sea. So yeah, you're gonna have a lot of fun watching this movie. It's a pretty fun movie overall. So that's all for my non-spoiler reviews. That's all I have to say. So I want to go deeper into it, of course, in the spoiler review. So without further ado, let's cue the spoiler warning. So let's start off the spoiler review with the story. We got a pretty good story here with Aquaman here. It's about Arthur Curry. He doesn't really want to be king, but he has to be king of Atlantis. And soon enough he finds out that the traits he had not only makes him a king, but also makes him a hero as well. And I really like what Aquaman finds out about this. He actually comes out of the waterfall, the scene from the trailer, comes out of the waterfall with the classic suit and all that. And that's pretty cool. I really like that. That's how it all concludes together, it all comes together, what I mean. So yeah, it's a pretty good story. Nothing mind-breaking, groundbreaking, but it's still a pretty good story for Aquaman. But that's not all, of course. Of course, there's more to this story. I'm gonna go more in detail with other stuff in the story via the characters. So without further ado, let's talk about the characters in this film. First off, we got Aquaman, of course, which I already talked about just now. But yeah, he is a pretty solid character. He does kind of remind me of Thor in some ways. And plus, this movie does kind of remind me of Thor Ragnarok in some ways. Come on. The over-the-topness and all that. They even got some techno music in there, which I actually really like in Thor Ragnarok. I really like Thor Ragnarok. I hope we got a sequel though. Oh my god, we're getting a sequel! What do you mean it's not a sequel? There's Thor and there's Valkyrie. Next up, let's talk about Mira. She's a pretty good character. She's kind of giving the whole independent woman vibe, like we kind of see with Wonder Woman beforehand, but yeah, we don't really see that much in the film. We do see it, but it's not like it's a big thing that we get to see in this film, but it's still a pretty alright idea for her. At the end of the movie, we get to see her as a love interest to Aquaman. I see that coming from a mile away already. I'm glad that movies nowadays kind of put those love stories in the sidelines instead of making it the main focus, part of the main focus I mean. But yeah, it it's nothing worth gabbling aloud. I don't know how to explain it. It's not worth mentioning to make it a big point in this film. It's just a small thing. I feel like you kind of seen it already. It's not like it's gonna ruin the movie. It's just there. If you remove it, it's alright. Next we got Volko, which is basically the trainer to Aquaman. He kind of trains him to become an actual Atlantean, swim fast, communicate to fish and all that. We get to see that in the film. We get to see like flashbacks of that in the film, and they actually transition pretty good from present day to flashback, It transitioned to it very well. I really like that. And one flashback which I really like, Volko does this whole thing with his trident. I think it was a trident, not sure if it's a stick or a trident, but he kind of does a weird spinning thing with his trident. And then later on, Aquaman asks, a younger Aquaman says, when can I do that? He says like, when you're ready. And soon enough, at the end of the film, when he was fighting the Ocean Master, we actually get to see him do it. It's not something that we not seen beforehand, but it's actually pretty neat. I always like those ideas, something from the very beginning comes back at the end to conclude the movie. It's a pretty good idea. Of course, no superhero movie is complete without supervillains, and we got two in this movie. First, we got the Ocean Master, which is Aquaman's half-brother. He kind of blames him for, the death of his mother because, when the Atlanteans find out that his mother has a son which is half human, half Atlantean, they kind of sent her to die and all that. That's why Ocean Master blamed him for, his mother's death, which is a pretty interesting idea. And soon enough, later on at the end of the movie, we found out that his mother is still alive. And once he finds out about it, he kind of stopped all his actions completely. Sure, he's already defeated by Aquaman at that point, but he stops his actions completely. He stops being an evil dude all the way once he found that his mother's alive. So it's a pretty interesting concept, is what I mean. He's kind of in the middle of a good Marvel villain and a bad Marvel villain. A good Marvel villain is basically the ones that are basically misunderstood villains and all that, like Thanos or Loki. And bad Marvel villains are just one-off villains which you'll forget later on. They're just like, I want to conquer the world, and yeah, that's it. He's kind of like both of those. He's kind of like in the middle of it. He's not a good Marvel villain. He's not a bad Marvel villain. He's kind of in the middle. That's what I kind of see in Ocean Master. Secondly, we got Black Manta, which I'm a bit disappointed because they didn't really use him a whole lot. Sure, we got to see his origin story and all that, and one action sequence, but it's only one action sequence with him. After that first action sequence, he just disappears from the movie. He's preserved for the sequel, and I can see a potential in the sequel for Aquaman, but I'm a bit disappointed that Black Manta didn't do that much in this film. We could have just added Black Manta just all the origin stuff, just put it in the sequel. You don't need to put the origin of Black Manta in this film and then, lead up to the sequel. I kind of feel like all this Black Manta stuff, if you want to put Black Manta as the villain for the sequel, then just put him in the sequel. Don't need to put him in this film. So, is Aquaman worth the wait? The next film in the DCEU? Well, kinda. I wasn't really expecting a whole lot when I first saw the trailers and footage of it. I was just expecting a nice fun movie to watch during the holidays, and I think this movie delivered that nicely. I didn't expecting a whole lot of epicness and all that. Sure, it kind of looked epic in the trailers, but not very epic like I have to watch this movie or anything. I just was expecting a nice fun movie to watch. Nothing terrible, nothing extremely good. Just a nice fun movie to watch during the holidays, and this movie delivered it. So with that said, alright guys and gals, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. So I hope you guys have a fun time with your family and your friends during this holiday season. Can you imagine it's almost the end of the year? It's almost 2019. Man, I kind of feel like we should do something special to end off the year. Sure, we got the Bumblebee movie coming out, so of course I'll do a review on that. But I kind of feel like we could do something more right now. What can we do? Save Martha! So until then guys, rock it on! Martha.